Last show, we talked summer, but we skipped the most popular season yet. Wedding season.
Yes. Let's just go broke real quick, right?
What are you saying? Are you saying that you have to spend thousands to have a good wedding?
I don't think you can, especially on a simple one.
I think you can have a simple wedding and not break the bank. It's all about the planning. It's all about the planning.
Well, Josh, let's see if you're correct.
Headlines are next. Stay tuned. I'm not going to be surprised for this one. These headlines just keep blowing me away. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Facts, the Fellas and Facts podcast with your hosts, Josh and EJ, starts right now.
Prosecutors detail timeline and suspects' intensive arsenal in the White House Correspondents Dinner shooting. Last Saturday, while I was at a bachelorette party for 4 hours, I get out the bar, turn on my phone. I didn't have my phone on the whole time. You put it away, you give some, you lose some. So you don't know what the hell is going on because everybody that you know is right in front of you, except for you, Ernest. You weren't there. So maybe next time, come on out, then you'll be in front of me. I turned on the TikTok, and all of a sudden, here we go. President Donald Trump is being held under and escorted off the stage at a White House Correspondents Dinner. So apparently there was shots that rang out. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. You see Erica Kirk on a video crying, saying she wants to go home. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening now? So now we know what happened. Now federal prosecutors on Wednesday offered the most robust look at yet the government's case against the suspected gunman who allegedly charged past security at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where President Trump and the top cabinet officials gathered last week, including a bunch of people from the media. Evidence shows that he fired towards Secret Service officers. In a court filing laying out prosecutors' argument for keeping Cole Thomas Allen in custody as he awaits federal trial. The Department of Justice news of the timeline of the shooting, along with the thorough research account of the weaponry that he had. Apparently, he had a bunch of heavy artillery. He was ready for World War III. The U.S. Attorney's Office for D.C. provided a ballistic and crime scene analysis in a letter to the defense team later Wednesday. Prosecutors argued that there is no combination of conditions that were reasonable, assure that the community's safety if the suspect were to be released, pointing to his extensive probationaries and possibility of avoid killing good fortune, that he would have killed people and effect serious damage. They called his plot one extreme political violence. The defendant's choice of targets demonstrates the deeply dangerous nature of his conduct. The prosecutors wrote, attempted murder is always a serious crime, but when the intended victim is the President of the United States, as well as the high-ranking members of the U.S. government, the potential consequences are far-reaching. Allen's lawyers challenge the scope of the prosecutor's narrative. Question that they had evidence of their claims, particularly the allegation that he fired his shotgun in the direction of the Secret Service officer on Saturday evening. The government's evidence of the charge offense that the attempted assassination of the president is thus built entirely upon speculation. They also wrote in filing arguing his release ahead of trial. Allen's attorneys also complained in court, filing to the judge overseeing the case, that they are having a difficulty meeting with him as a warden of the Washington, D.C. jail is keeping it locked down. Not going to say why this is a big deal, but when you go into a room full of guns and you're trying to shoot everybody from the president to the vice president, all the way down to the Secretary of Defense, to the director of FBI and all the departments, you think that you're going to ever see the light of day.
Not at all, Josh. Not at all.
So why are people having a tough time saying, we can't get in contact with him? Yeah, do you see what you were going to do? You just challenged one of the biggest forces in our government. You actually challenged the government themselves. The lawyer is probably going to have to call you on a two-way or something because you're never going to see anybody in person. But we'll see if any other updates happen. Like everybody says, everybody gets due process, and it's all on camera. Everybody had videos. I mean, the whole room, besides the government and all their guests, they had half the news media and sources at this dinner. So we'll see what happens. Oh, my favorite topic, Iran update. President Trump is indicated that the U.S. will not accept Iran's most recent proposal. The U.S. had redirected 42 vessels since the blockade began. CENTCOM reported estimating a loss of Iranian government revenue of $6 billion. Pentagon CFO Jules Hurst III estimated that the war has cost the U.S. $25 billion so far. Additionally, Trump told aides to prepare for a longer blockade. Meanwhile, the U.S. Central Command celebrated redirecting another vessel Wednesday, the 42nd one since the blockade began. Admin Brad Cooper called it a significant milestone. He also added that the previous 41 ships had combined 69 million barrels of oil and estimated the loss of the Iranian government at $6 billion. While the ceasefire is still holding, the American public learned of the costs of the conflict. Pentagon CFO Jules Hurst estimated the U.S. has spent $25 million. So far, during nearly 6-hour hearing on Capitol Hill on Wednesday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth refused to answer a Congress member's questions about how long the war may last or what the final bill could be. My final bill, Mr. Hegseth, is when I look and fill up on a Friday before the weekend at a good old 416. I'm not too happy about no 416. No, Josh is not too happy about that. And then I go in on Monday and see that it's almost 4:39. Then in the afternoon, I leave for work. It goes up to 4:59. How can you make this up? What are we doing? I thought we had drill, baby, drill. Are we like behind? Is it because there's not enough workers? What the fuck is the deal? What is the deal?
I'm not sure, Josh, but what I do know, I can tell you what, we're going to be like the Flintstones here in a little bit. We're all going to be pedaling with our feet and yabba dabba do. We don't get this figured out. That's what I do know.
I mean, what does it buy you? Because if it's almost $5 here, it's probably like $7 by you.
I think that day I texted you and I was in shock. I think it was at like $5.65 and that was on like Monday. I think Wednesday I just went to the gas station, and Wednesday I think it was like $6.05 or something like that. So yeah, again, I don't know what needs to be done. I'm too big. Maybe I'll lose some weight, using my feet, pedaling all day. But there's other ways I'd rather, shed some LBs than sitting there having to push my car. I couldn't afford to get the gas or whatever the case may be. But we got to figure this out. And honestly, I don't think we can put a dollar amount.
If I lived closer to work, I would have said, you know what, maybe I'll take the bike today. But I don't. I live 30 to 35 minutes away. That's a long time, especially in my neighborhood. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right, we're taking it back home. More to the Bears leaving Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker says he wants the state Senate to move on the so-called mega projects bill that the Bears say they need to build a new stadium. But he also says issues remain to be resolved with the tension of the bill passed by the House last week. One issue is a provision about the amusement tax, but one House member said that could be easily fixed, while Governor J.B. Pritzker and the other state and local officials have continue to push for the passage of the so-called mega projects bill, which the Chicago Bears argued is necessary to build a new suburban stadium. It appears that unlikely to happen without some changes and versions of the past bill of the House of Representatives that was sent last week. The measures would essentially allow the Bears to get a break on their property taxes to build a stadium in Arlington Heights that is estimated to generate thousands of jobs, billions of dollars in economic impacts. Bears leadership said that they will choose between Arlington Heights and the site in Hammond, Indiana. Sometime between this spring and early summer, Indiana lawmakers already passed a measure that creates a new taxes to pay for the construction of the stadium. House Bill HB 910 made its way to the Senate, but it's not likely to be voted on fully this week, according to a spokesman for the Democratic caucus, which is in the majority. We're going to review what the House passed, gather input from the senators and the stakeholders, and assess the path forward. There's plenty of time built into the process for that. But Senate is only session through Thursday of this week, had most weekdays in May. Their deadline to pass the House bill will be Friday, May 8th, according to the Senate's calendar. The Senate adjourns its regular legislative sessions on May 31st. So we have until the end of May to see if the Bears are going to be in Chicago, Illinois, the pride and joy of Illinois, or let's go, who's your Bears? Who's your Bears?
They ain't going to be my Bears. I'll tell you that. They going to be somebody's Bears. They ain't going to be mine.
You are so. Why are you so salty about the Bears leaving Chicago?
Listen here. I got so many reasons, but let's first go into this whole job thing, right? You think the people are going to be able to make it out to Arlington Heights to go to work? There's that many people that drive that can go out there. So you're only literally going to create jobs for solely people in Indiana or in Arlington Heights, versus where the current Bears Stadium is at. You can access that through many modes of driving. You can walk there and public transportation. So now, if we don't get the gas situation figured out, people are going to be coming from the city all the way out there for, one game, event staff pay, as you know what that is. And you're going to spend a quarter of that just in the gas. No, it's stupid. It's stupid. And then we go back to just how I truly feel about the Bears. It's a love-hate relationship with the Bears. But one thing I always could count on is that the Bears are going to be in Chicago. And now all of a sudden, I can't even say that. I really don't care if you jack up the beer prices. I couldn't tell you how many people have gone to a Bears game and said, man, those beer prices were crazy. That's not what they say. You'll say, damn, the Bears suck, or damn, fucking so-and-so did something stupid. But you'll never hear someone complain about prices. So if you need to raise them up, in my opinion, go ahead and raise them up. I really don't care. But to send them somewhere else just does not make sense for Chicago. It doesn't. What's going to be our next source of revenue then?
Well, you better tell your mayor to stop spending.
Well, no, okay. Spend it on me, mayor. Please. If you don't have anything else to think about, you think about Ernest Jackson and how he wants the Bears to stay in Chicago. All right, do I got to get the decision?
He's not going to listen to you. He's not going to listen to you at all.
That's fine.
So keep dreaming, my friend. All right, so today's show is all about the wedding season. Is it enough? Do you want to spend millions, thousands, have 250 people at your wedding? Or are you just going to do it simple? The facts don't lie. We'll be right back.
Style is a big deal for all of us, especially me. I like to look my best from head to toe. And speaking of toe, I know an incredible individual that her work speaks for itself. Margaret Ray, the owner and founder of Simplest Shoes in Dolton, Illinois, will have your footwear looking from drab to fab in no time. Her unique eye of color and detail is like art that will make your shoes shine, dazzle for days to come, making everyone you know ask where they could get a pair too. All you have to do is call Margaret at 708-953-0015 and discuss the many custom options and designs. Also, give her a like on Facebook at Simplest Shoes with a Z today.
So this year I do have a couple weddings to go to. They're going to be so expensive, meaning the trips, because I got a trip in June going to a bachelor party. I'm not complaining, but I'm just complaining about the prices about everything. My thing about everything that goes on in this world is the prices. Italians bitch about prices. We think that we can get it cheaper, but then at the end, we are not getting the full value. So, what is the most expensive wedding that you ever been to?
Well, with DJing, I've seen people spend easily 40, 50 grand. I've seen someone, I think the most I've ever spent is probably, or I've seen spent, is probably like 75,000, bro. And they had it all. They had the valet cars for everybody pulling in. Everybody had they had the appetizers, then they had the dinner, they had the dessert. And then once the whole thing was over, they had more food come in at like midnight to feed everybody again. They had the DJ. I came on after the live band came on. So then I DJed for the next 4 hours. And then they opened bar. Brother, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So yeah.
$75 doesn't seem that bad.
You said $75, bro. You out your mind. I said 75,000.
That's what I mean. 75,000 doesn't seem that bad compared to like 100 grand or 150.
Yeah, but I still think I don't know if that really enhanced everyone's experience enough because you spent the money on it, if that makes sense. If it's supposed to be the people that you love that are there, plus your family, plus, your parents, if they're, I got to invite so-and-so that you haven't seen in 10 years, but hey, you got to invite so-and-so. So if you do all that, then yeah, once you get out of that realm of the people that you want there, then sure, 75,000, 100,000, cool. Those people are going to appreciate it because that's your parents or whoever you invited adjacent need to know that you went all out, right? But for the immediate people, no, they don't need all that at all.
No, I totally agree. The only thing that I don't agree with is, does it always have to be the woman's side of the family? So the parents of the bride always have to pay. Do you agree with that?
No, not at all. I think that tradition went out the window a while ago. I joked with my old man.
But it's not gone though. It's not gone.
It's not gone. I talked to my old man the other day. I just made a reference of a conversation about marriage. And that man said, oh yeah, we probably going to have to get with, her family. I said, wait a minute, man. We're not doing that. And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, no, you really thought that that's what we were going to do. No, that's just not how it goes anymore. At least it shouldn't.
So yeah, the total cost is roughly $34,000 to $36,000 roughly for a decent sized wedding. On the high end, often exceeds, like you said, $50,000. Smaller local weddings may be at $20,000, but like you said, with all the fees, the venues, the food, all the vendors, you have your drinks, you have your DJ, your videographer, photographer. I mean, people are, and not only that, but I would say it's also the clothes too. It's not just the dress of the woman, it's the clothes, because let's just say you go into and walk into a Men's Warehouse, you're paying about $150 for the rental, just the rental alone. And it's like, just to wear a nasty ass suit that somebody else wore that has a little rip and a little tear at the bottom, that is nuts.
Yeah,
that is nuts.
I got a wedding coming up on Saturday. I think for me to rent my tux and all the accoutrements and all that, I think it was like $375, something like that. $375, rented it out, and then when it got here, I picked it up. Apparently, you're not supposed to try it on there, so I said, "Cool, I'll try it on when I get home." And my shirt length was too short, so I said, "God damn!" So I ended up having to order another shirt because I don't have enough time to go back and take it to them and wherever they get it done. So it's $150 is probably low, brother. I think you spend at least $300, $400.
Where are you going? Are you going to like a high bougie motherfuckers, or what you doing?
I don't know. So, we're not having a rehearsal dinner. So everything on the day of the wedding will be a surprise to me. I don't know who I'm walking with. I said, cool, let's just have fun. But I mean, there's 250 people going. So that's at minimum 250 mouths you got to feed. So you call it what's $50, $60, $70 a plate just for those 250 people? Shit. On food alone, brother, I'm gonna be upside down. So, I mean, the best thing I can say is go get a buffet, get some pizza, the White Castles. That's what I'm looking at. But yeah, at this point for me, I don't think I could comfortably have 250 people at my wedding. I just think you're going to find yourself upside down. Now, on the plus side of it, you get the gifts, you get all that. So maybe you spend $60,000, maybe you'll get $100,000 in gifts. I mean, it all depends. 250 people going to a wedding, you gonna get yourself some gifts, bro. Like, you're gonna get a lot of gifts.
Yeah, but like I said, it's $85 for roughly per person to eat. Now, I've been to some weddings, and some of the food hasn't been that good. And as an Italian, what we do in an Italian family is we don't have just like $100 for the bride and groom. We have maybe 500. And if we don't like something, we take 100 back, and we just go through the night. And then we just say, okay, is this enough for the bride and groom tonight? And then at the end of the day, or at the end of the evening, we give it to them, and that's that. It's like that movie Goodfellas. If you see in Goodfellas, everybody's handing over envelopes. That's how it is. That's exactly how it is.
You doing the dollar dance whenever you get married, or is that cheesy?
The what dance?
You never heard of dollar dance?
No, I heard of the electric slide, the cha-cha slide, the double Dutch bus. Dutch
bus. And you have me 2 out of 3. Hey, nah, I don't know which weddings you're going to, but that's not going down at mine. But no, it's called the dollar dance. So it's been a while since I went to one that had it, but the groom, has her dress on, you got your tux on, whatever, and people tape dollars. Oh, no, I did that wrong. Yeah. So the groom's on one side, the bride's on another side. And if people want to dance with you, they got to tape money to what you're wearing. So the wedding that people spent like $170,000 at, brother, people are going up putting $100 bills on dresses, on this man's tux, just $100. One dude showed up, literally just had a check and they just wrote like 10,000 on it and just taped that up to her dress, brother. I'm telling you.
So what are we, strippers, or are we the new?
No, you keep your clothes on. Yeah, you the newlywed strippers that's trying to get a house. Listen, if somebody wants to tape money to my forehead and my ass for the right price so I can get a house, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Listen, when that man put that check on there, I was about to jump in line with him. Hey, look, we all getting married. Here, put a check right here.
Yeah, when somebody puts a blank check and say, hey, put whatever you want in it. Yeah. 1 extra 0, and just keep going. Going down the line.
Listen, I'd leave the wedding right there. I go straight to the bank. I'd be like, hey, look, I'll be right back.
You ain't kidding. You are not kidding with that. I just feel when it comes to different weddings, you see a bunch of things that you like. I never seen that done before, and then sometimes if the families are messy, it's like now we have a brawl in the parking lot. I'm still waiting for my first one with that, but we're getting close to that time. We're getting close to that time because some families can't stand each other. I mean,
Josh, I had it happen.
Tell us about it. This is your story.
Listen. So we're at a wedding. The groomsmen's, so the mother, I guess the mother of the groom, they were having some sort of conversation off to the side. The bride's sister walked up and said, "Hey, come join the party. Looks like you guys are arguing." The mother mushed her in the face and said, "Mind your business. You ain't part of this family." Lord help me when I saw a black mass of people start running over there and things started getting thrown. The food was going everywhere. And the worst part that pissed me off for about 10 minutes until they took care of it. So while they were fighting, they were close to my DJ. I had a little DJ stand, it's probably about waist high, and I'm DJing. And when they started fighting, I grabbed my computer. I can't grab everything, so I just grabbed my laptop. I cut the music off. I turned off my lights because I'm like, hey, everybody needs to see, security minded. So I grabbed the laptop. I walked off, can't grab everything. But they pushed and kept fighting, knocked over my entire everything, bro. Gone. They knocked over the speaker that was into the pole, into the subwoofer. That got knocked over. I was hot. But at the same time, I'm trying to get everybody calmed down. So once everything settled down a little bit, the father of the bride came over, very apologetic, tried to give his best, like, I'm sorry and all that bullshit. He ended up actually cash apping me right then and there, $1,000. He said, "Hey, we'll get you the rest later. Is there any salvaging all this stuff?" I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we can keep it going if y'all can hold it down. Like, this was crazy. So they actually called the police. They kicked out probably half of the bride's family, kicked them all out, told them they got to go. We partied again, and that was that.
I have so many questions.
Go ahead, come on.
So my understanding is the bride got her whole entire family kicked out of this venue.
I wouldn't say the bride did. It was the bride's sister. So picture the groom and the mother and his mother having their own private conversation. Nobody knew what it was about, but it was getting heated. I think there was some tensions already in the air about the marriage, right? The sister of the bride walked over, probably just being nosy. She should have stayed in her place, said something, mother mushed. I'm talking about just mushed. And of course, people are going to see that and react. So the whole entire family, I mean, it just, everybody's running over there. Before anyone even made it to her, a chair was thrown from somewhere. Don't know where it came from. That's when I said, shut my laptop, turned all the volume down. I move. I'm out. And then I sat that down, and I mean, people are throwing punches. People are pulling hair. I mean, it was just an all-out brawl. Police get called because nobody wants to leave now. Everyone's like, hey, we spent money on this. Like, nobody wants to leave. She doesn't want her side to leave. He doesn't want his side to leave.
Of course.
Police get called. But everybody was able to identify who threw the chair, and it came from the bride's side. So that's when the decision was made. Hey, this person, all these people got to go. She got about half of her people to stay. And then they asked me, hey, here's $1,000 for any damage or whatever. We'll take care of you at the end. Is there any way you can get your stuff up and running? $1,000, minor damage? Let's do it. Put the headphones on. Hey, look, man. So yeah, I seen it. It was wild.
Was that the only time that you ever seen something that wild before at a wedding while DJing?
Yeah, I've seen some nasty things at weddings, but no, that's probably the craziest actual like drama I've ever seen before. I've seen one where they were doing the cake eating, and they do the little thing, and yeah. This girl, she had this custom dress and she had these custom pair of Converse, and he thought it was funny, and right in her face, got all over her fucking dress. Bro, we thought they were gonna get divorced on the spot. Cause she was upset. I'm talking like $2-3 on a wedding dress with the custom sneaks. Whew.
Would you? That's the kind of conversations that you have to have before walking out. Like as everybody's getting announced and you're sitting, okay, what are we going to do when we walk out? Oh, we're going to do some, crazy, point your fingers at you kind of look. All right, what are we going to do when we cake eat? Are you going to shove cake in my face? Or are we going to be civil and say, let's do this civilly because, I don't want to slap your ass at the end of the night. Unless it was for good terms. I'm going
to disagree with you on that. If you spend $3,000 on a dress, let's just say it's me. If I spend $3,000 on a tux, I'm talking about I get some high-end tux or whatever. There's no conversation that needs to be had ahead of time about you ruining my damn $3,000 tux. And if I get some penny loafers,
is this a rental tux, or is this like I'm buying this tuxedo and it's just gonna hang? This is my
tux, just like it was her dress. This is my tux. I'm gonna pass it down to my kids. There's no conversation we're having about this. I spent too much money on this tux and my gold-plated penny loafers with no socks for you to sit here and think in any way you're gonna put cake anywhere on me. We don't need to discuss that. There's some other things we can discuss, but that's not one of them. I feel like it's there's nothing to talk about. We spent money to look good. Let's not ruin it.
That's a hell no for no cake in the face. I remember when my dad got married for the third time. God bless him. God bless his soul. He was the third time I was actually kind of older, sophomore in high school. And I remember the wedding night like it was yesterday. And they did the cake cutting, and then all of a sudden you see the look that they both gave each other, like, She said, and he was like, like, nope, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's the kind of communication that couples need to have. So I'm not going, I'm just saying weddings are nice, but are they necessary? Studies show that if you have mentioned that 47% of couples with large weddings of 150 plus reported high marital satisfaction compared to only 31% those with fewer than 50 guests. Divorce rates, couples spending less than $1,000 on their wedding were 53% likely to get divorced. 53% of couples are going to get divorced. What are we doing?
Josh, I don't know what we're doing.
I can't understand why can't we spend just a little bit of money and have a backyard barbecue, drink and have a good time for only $1,000 compared to $75,000.
I think that's subjective to your friend group and your families and any outside pressure. So let me say this. If I told my parents, hey, we just gonna do us, just a family, $1,000, couple 30 racks of Busch Light in the yard, order Baracos pizza, get that delivered, shout out Baracos. I can assure you,
use the Baracos.
My great-great-grandmammy, rest her soul, would come out the grave and say, what in the hell are y'all doing? Because I can assure you that's just not what she wanted, and it ain't what my parents wanted. And that's the thing. I think I said this in one of our first couple episodes. Spend the money that you have. Don't try to keep up with everyone else. I agree. But at the same time, there is an expectation of making sure that you're going to have a good time. And you can do that, like you said, in the backyard. But I think there's some outside factors that may say, nah, that's not going down. The question is, Josh, do you let other people pay for your wedding?
I'm kind of proud when it comes to that. I'm proud of anything. If somebody gives me, let's say, $50 to say, hey, I see you're down on your luck. Here's $50. I can't accept it because I'm a proud man. I work hard for everything that I do. So having somebody else pay for something, I kind of feel uncomfortable.
So would you take the $1,000 backyard wedding? I mean, like a good backyard wedding. I'm talking, you got the lights, everything looks beautiful, versus if, let's say, the father of the bride says, hey, we'll take care of everything, but you're not getting married in the backyard.
You come up with the most deepest fucking conversations. I'm going to tell you something that I'm stumped because I'm like, okay, so what are you thinking? Because here's the thing. If I get to say, I want flamingos at my wedding, I want doves when I say I do, shit like that, like overexerted shit, like instead of being modest and saying, okay, we'll just do a cake, food has to be good food. I would say, okay, yeah, fine. But some people take advantage of somebody else paying, say, we'll pay for it if you don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to have a good time. Well, we don't want you to spend only $1,000. Let's do it. I've been to that kind of wedding.
Yeah.
Where it was at a country club, and it was a rich ass country club. Great food, the best food that I've ever tasted. It was like there was a chef back there doing individual plates.
Damn.
And there was a lot of people. Lots of people. And then all of a sudden, like you said, at the end of the night, here comes 35 pizzas coming in into the venue. All good pizzas, too. It's not like Domino's or Little Caesars.
Whoa.
All big ass. And I'm not dissing Domino's or Little Caesars because I love my $5 or what used to be $5 pizza.
Okay, just check.
Okay. No, I'm not. We'll get into that. We'll get into pizzas later on. But the fact of the matter is, as you're taking me off topic, do I want that? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. If I break down into debt a little bit. But like you said, there are bigger goals outside of just a wedding. Some people already have kids when they're married or have a child on the way. Some people have houses. I'd rather have a nice ass house with all the amenities, pool, jacuzzi, wine cellar, cigar lounge area, bar, man cave, all that good stuff. I'm a kid. Like I said, I'm a kid at heart. I love all that crap. I love being at home and being a homebody. So yeah, I want that instead of paying $100,000 for a fancy ass wedding, which is only going to invite some people that I don't know, or I have to kiss ass to.
Okay.
My brother and future sister-in-law are doing it very nice. They're only having 90 people at their wedding. And it's only the people that they really care for. Not these fake ass people like I talked to you a while back. I think we're close. Come on and get free drinks and free food. Because some people do that. They do not participate in giving the gifts. They do not participate in giving a little bit to the bride and groom. They just come for the free entertainment.
So that being said, you get someone else to pay for your wedding. And I don't mean it like that, like someone pays for it. I'm saying someone says, hey, I'm offering you, whatever to pay for it. You say you want the house. You don't need to spend that type of money at the wedding. But in return, though, would the argument be made, the more people you invite, the more money you spend, the more you will also get back? I think that would be a fair argument to say. If you have, let's say, 50 people in a backyard wedding, well, you're on a budget, meaning probably the people that you're inviting are also on a budget too, and there's nothing wrong with that. You spend, $50,000, and you're feeding everyone. You got all this nice stuff. There's probably an expectation that when I put all these expensive things on the registry, I'm inviting a certain class of people or people that will spend that type of money. I don't think you can do, hey, I'm going to have a backyard wedding and someone's going to give you a $5,000 check for a house. But if you have $100,000 wedding,
oh no,
there might be someone in there that's like, damn. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. Not married, so don't know. But I don't know. I'm willing to spend a good amount of money.
You are planning to be married. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
And I want you to start thinking a little bit of what's coming your way here. Because I hear a lot of people say, my one friend, she's dating somebody who's Islamic.
Okay.
And she had the most craziest shit that she's ever said to me. She said, yeah, people give you money. We have, probably over 300 people at our wedding, but they're all business owners. But then the groom would have to pay upfront $60,000 at the end of the day, because that is the money that is given to the bride after if down the line they get divorced.
Hey.
So there's no divorce.
Hey.
So there's no like alimony or anything. It's $60,000. That is it. And I'm like,
might be on to something.
Must be they might be onto something. I really like that, because I would rather pay $60,000, have it all up front, all done, up front, instead of her getting half my 401k, half of the house, half alimony on top of that, $2,000 a month. I know people who work jobs who are saying, oh, I'm divorced again for the third time. I have to go back to work, and I got to work 3 jobs now because I got to pay each one of these ladies an acidine amount of money a month. And that's the thing about you gold diggers. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you marry a man just for its money, go home and stop dating.
Damn.
I'm just saying.
They got to stop dating?
Hell yeah. Just be a whore.
Damn.
And do what you got to do.
Well,
you don't got to marry again.
But what about the men and or women, whether you're a gold digger? Well, I don't know what the term is, but what about the people that are flaunting their money? Everyone has their own attractions, though. So if one of your things is, I'm attracted to people that spend money and they'll spend money on me, and there's a person out there that's like, hey, I got this Bentley, and I'm willing to spend money on you. What's wrong with that?
No, I get you.
This is not for you.
My thing about it is, if I become somebody with money, I'm not going to flaunt it around. I'm going to be smart with it. Nobody's going to know that I have money unless I buy everybody $1,000 steaks if I'm out, and people are like, where did you get that from? Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. My money is my money.
No, I'm going to be worried. I'm going to be worried about it. If we go out sometime and you say, hey, get a bottle of King Louis the 15th or whatever, and get yourself a $90 porterhouse, I'm going to ask you where you got the money from. And if you tell me, don't worry about it, it's cool. Nah, I want to know.
I get it, bro. But the fact of the matter is, I would tell you, but not somebody that I'm potentially going to date, get married. If I'm going to get married, there's going to be a prenup. No matter what.
Damn.
Like, mine is mine and what's yours is yours. And if you come in here with nothing, you might leave with a little something depending on how this works. Because divorces are messy.
Josh, you just
divorces are fucking messy.
They are. But you just took half the women off your radar by saying you're doing a prenup. Some women, they're not going to want that. Well, I guess you're more picky than me, but to get back on.
Anyway, after I just got rudely interrupted by work for the 14th fucking time.
Yeah, fun times with that.
No shit. What was I saying?
Well, I think we were talking about the prenup and kind of just trying to see if it's worth it. I had made comment, I think, limiting half of, because there's women out there that'll be fine with it, but I think I think maybe I'm just living on hope and a dream of a relationship and a marriage, but I feel like there is a level of trust. Yes, there's some bad women out there, but I think it also depends on how quick someone wants to get married. You know, if they want to get married right away, I'd probably say, and I have money, then I might say need a prenup. But if you take the long route, a couple of years or so, and then you choose to get married, I can't believe that you need a prenup. I just don't.
So you're telling me right now that, for instance, this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
it grows. Before you get married,
Mm-hmm.
you're a millionaire.
Yep.
You ain't gonna get no prenup.
No. For what?
Let's think about that now.
For what? I mean,
let's thinking about that now.
Nah. Listen, you gotta think like this, right? If your future wife puts up with all your bullshit, I'm talking about the long days when you get home from work and you yelling and fussing, the side comments you may make about somebody's whatever arguments that you have had throughout your relationship. You don't think your partner's owed something after all that? She put up with your ass for a certain amount of time. Shit, let her get something.
You do have a point, but I'm going to stick to my point, and I'm going to protect me. I'm just going. I'm going to protect me, and then if she shows the same love language, well, kind of like a different love language, and what I mean by that is like supporting, caring, and understanding. Now, if I see that it's all about me in the relationship again in the beginning, and I'm giving everything to you already, hell no, you ain't getting shit else.
Okay, Josh. Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple years. I also want to make reference that my girlfriend's about 125 feet away from me. So it's actually quite funny that we're talking about this. As you can imagine, the text that I'm getting when I just made a reference about cooking, and I don't talk about her cooking. I've never said anything bad about her cooking. And I just want to let the record show on this podcast, in case she ever listens, or anyone else that is affiliated with her, that I was just commenting about cooking in general. And when I said
you are going to be in the doghouse today. And I'm waiting for her to come around and look and go, what the fuck did you just say? I'm waiting for it. Oh my God. Tell me. So what else did she say? Go ahead. Continue. Go ahead. Say what she said. What else did she say?
She said, yeah, that side comment you may make about somebody's cooking, ... And then she said, oh, shush. Then she said, oh, liar. And then she said, where's the meat? She said, where's the meats? What protein are we having? Which are all very true things I say. So here's the thing. I don't know if it's just me or if I'm just picky, but when I eat, there has to be protein. There has to be some sort of steak, chicken, beef. I don't care what it is, but there has to be protein. But sometimes when somebody cooks, there's just no protein. So of course, listen, when I have breakfast in the morning, I love eggs. Love me some cheesy eggs. Where's the protein?
It's in the fucking protein. Eggs are protein.
No. Where's the bacon, the ham, the sausage? Hell, throw some fried bologna on there.
Okay.
I don't even like fried bologna, but I'd eat it. But I digress.
Please, can we get her on the show and say, to reference your comments in our past show, what's going on with, what does she cook?
I mean, she'll cook
that she's so offended right now.
No, she cooks everything. I mean, like, there's nothing that she's cooked that I was like, I don't like it. I just know for me, like, if we're doing like, what do we call it? Like pasta or something, right? If I'm having spaghetti, I need meatballs. If I'm having some sort of pasta, throw some shrimp in there. I'm just picky, but it's me. It's me. I will say that confidently. It is me. That's just how I eat. It is beef. I am bad enough to say it is beef.
Putting shrimp in spaghetti. What the kind of bullshit is that?
It's something. I said you could cut up the bologna, fry it up, throw it in there. I'm not opposed to it. I'll eat it. Let me stop. I want to
see what your cholesterol is. Talk about this bacon.
Shoot, that's why I said if these gas prices don't come down, like I said, I'm gonna be yabby dabby doing it, but I'll lose some weight, get my cholesterol down. But nah, don't worry about it. Okay, let's move on because you know once we wrap up here, I got to go sit in that same room. So to keep me safe, let's carry on. I do want to make one last comment. Not about this, but I was thinking about this term or this phrase I heard, and it's, what is it? It's their wedding, our marriage, right? So whoever is paying for it, it's their wedding because they're paying for it, and it's your marriage. And that is something I have kind of accepted that, if I need financial help, if we need financial help for the wedding, whoever's planning it, whoever's spending the money, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You said you want doves. I don't want doves, but if the person paying for it says, hey, we want 6 blue doves.
Now, I was saying that just to prove a point. I don't want doves or geese and tigers and all this other bullshit. Doves. I don't want doves. I think it's corny.
You said flamingos, which was crazy.
Because you ever see that movie Father of the Bride, and there's a bunch of doves and all that, the wild animal. You ever see that Father of the Bride with Steve Martin?
I don't think I see my best friend's wedding.
This might be a caucus kind of a movie a little bit. So you probably won't have seen it.
I'm sure I've seen it. I know the movie you're talking about. I just haven't seen it. My favorite wedding movie of all time for all of you is My Best Friend's Wedding. I'll say a little prayer for you. That's my movie. Anyway, I'm sorry. You got me all riled up and frustrated now.
I'm not trying to get you frustrated. That's not no intentions. No intentions.
Okay. You're just ruining a happy home over here, Josh. That's all you're doing.
No, I'm not. You're the one that said something about, here's the text and here's the cooking. I just asked some questions. I just wanted her to come on and say, hey, listen, he's a little shit sometimes, and boom.
One thing she also talks about is I have a terrible use of pronouns. So when I'm telling stories, I don't use correct pronouns. So if I say, if you're with my partner, I'm not literally saying my partner. I'm actually referring to a general audience of my, but since I don't know how to use pronouns correctly, if you're an onlooker or on listener, you carrying on, Josh. Let's keep this show going. If I backpedal any further, I'm gonna go through this wall behind me. So let's where are we at now? I think
I think I'm just going to stop dying laughing right now because this guy is flapping like a fucking duck on water. It's nice and calm on the surface, and then back on the feet. Here we go. It's flapping away.
Hey.
Anyway,
Josh,
we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
What's that sign you're supposed to get?
No, SOS. Abort. Anyway, folks, we're not going to get Ernest in trouble. We're going to be right back after these messages from our sponsors, then go into our TikTok viral video of the week. We'll be right back.
Do you love looking in the mirror and saying, wow, my hair hasn't looked this good before? Majority of us guys feel like this each time we get a great haircut. Tired of not getting that same feeling? Well, I have the answer. Francisca, who operates Vancouver Cuts, is the way to go. Stop going to those ordinary haircut chains that don't give you the same feeling of style and confidence. Let Fran hook you up. She's not that far from the suburbs, just right there in Joliet, Illinois. So follow her now on Instagram at Vancouver Cuts, one word, that's VAQUERA, Cuts, and book your appointment now on Booksy. Do you love looking in the mirror and saying, wow, my hair hasn't looked this good before? Majority of us guys feel like this each time we get a great haircut. Tired of not getting that same feeling? Well, I have the answer. Francisca, who operates Vancura Cuts, is the way to go. Stop going to those ordinary haircut chains that don't give you the same feeling of style and confidence. Let Fran hook you up. She's not that far from the suburbs, just right there in Joliet, Illinois. So follow her now on Instagram at Vancura Cuts, one word, that's VAQUERA, Cuts, and book your appointment now on Booksy.
Now let's get into our favorite segment of the show. The TikTok viral video of the week. This creator was so gracious to give us an unbelievable story, but I don't think, if we're talking weddings, this should have happened. Now, we're doing it live, but in the captions it said it's the most craziest wedding story ever told. I'm a little skeptical about it because I've heard some pretty crazy ones. But we're going to take a listen. Thank you again to this creator. I need to start writing down names so I can give the credit where credit is due. But take a listen.
I caught a bride cheating on her wedding day, and I'm not sure if I did the right thing. I was actually just a +1 to this wedding. Didn't know the bride and groom. The guy who asked me was a guy I'd been on like 3 or 4 dates with. I don't even know why he asked me. It was very clear that we were a situationship, never gonna date. So when he asked me to go to this wedding, I mean, I said yes because I love weddings, but it was a little weird that he was asking me in the first place. So I get to this wedding and I very quickly realized how uncomfortable it is because I don't know anybody and I don't even know my date. Like, this man does not care about me at all. He barely knows me. I think he just didn't want to not have a +1. So he is not paying any attention to me. As soon as we get there, he just drifts off and starts talking to all the people he knows, and I'm just alone. I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to make friends. So I have the idea, you know what? I am just going to go to the bathroom and touch up my makeup before the ceremony. Then I don't have to talk to people and make small talk with people that I don't know. Because again, I don't even know where my date is at this point. He's gone. He could have left for all I know. So I'm looking for the bathroom, and let me tell you, nothing was properly marked. There were no signs telling me where the bathroom was, so I'm just fumbling around trying to figure out where I'm going. And finally, I open a door thinking it's the bathroom. Was not the bathroom. It was some storage closet, and in there, the bride was making out with some guy.
Hold it. Hold it. We think it's the groom. I'm going to call bullshit and say it's probably the best man or one of the groomsmen. Let's see what... I can tell this is going to be a juicy one.
I'm assuming it's the groom. How do I know it's the bride? Because she's in a giant puffy white dress and the guy is in a tux. So I just think that before the ceremony, bride and groom are making out. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Slam the door, and I am so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed at this point. I don't even care about touching up my makeup in the bathroom anymore. I just run back to the ceremony space where everybody is, and I find my date, and I was like, can we just sit down? Can we just wait for this to start? He was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I really just want to pretend that never happened. So finally, the ceremony starts, and the bridesmaids and groomsmen start walking down the aisle. And as they are, I noticed that one of the groomsmen was the man that the bride was making out with in the closet. When I tell you I felt the biggest pit in my stomach when I saw that man starting to walk down the aisle, I was like, that's not the groom. That is not the groom that she was making out with. And I am freaking out because what am I supposed to do at that point? So I do the only reasonable thing I can think to do, and I turn to my date, who again, I barely know, and I said, the bride, yeah, she was just making out with that guy, that groomsman walking down the aisle in the storage closet. He looks at me and goes, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I saw them making out in the storage closet. So what's going on here? And he looks at me and he just goes, whatever, it's not a big deal. Just forget about it. Forget about it. I can't. Then the groom starts walking down the aisle. Clearly not the man the bride was making out with in the storage closet. The bride walks down. As she's walking down the aisle, we lock eyes. I lock eyes with this woman, and it was the most uncomfortable few seconds of my life when we were making eye contact. And in the part of the ceremony when they say, if anybody has any reason that these two shouldn't get married, speak now or forever hold your peace. She looks at me again. She makes direct eye contact with me. I was like, girl, there is no way I'm standing up in the middle of your ceremony and exposing you. That's not happening. No, I kept quiet. I didn't say a single word. And they got married. After the ceremony, the reception starts, and I just am so stressed out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the right course of action is. So I decide that I'm going to go to the maid of honor and talk to her. So everyone's having fun. Everyone's dancing at the reception. I pull the maid of honor aside and I said, hey, you have no idea who I am, but I need to tell you what I saw before the ceremony. And I tell her, I said, the bride was cheating on the groom with one of the groomsmen. This girl didn't look shocked one bit. She knew. She fully knew what was going on. She looks at me and said, thank you so much for telling me this. I'll make sure that everything works itself out. Don't even worry about it. Go on with your day. You know, basically just shut up. That's what she was telling me to do. After that, I was just tapped out for the night. Emotionally, couldn't do anymore. So I find my date, who I knew I was never going to see again. I said, you know what? I'm going to call car, go home. He's like, are you sure? Like, no, stay. I was like, I need to go home. And I did. And never spoke to that man again. But
oh. All right, perfect. All right. So I called it, even though it wasn't the best man. Thank God. Because when you choose a best man, it has to be your ride or die. Groomsmen, they're kind of flaky. So who was she hooking up? Who was it, a friend or was it a family member? I don't know. But that's some crazy shit. Now, what would you do if you saw that or witnessed it yourself, or if it happened to you? What would be the low down plan? Either or vice versa. If you witnessed it, if you were in that girl's shoes that witnessed it, and it was somebody else that you know who was getting married, or no. Oh, I'm saying, are you doing it vice versa?
So if it happens to me and you're saying that I find out, or if it happens to me in general of I see what's happening in this story.
You witnessed it, or it happened to you.
If I witnessed it, and that part where she said the whatever it's called stands up and he goes, oh, does anyone have any objections? I'm gonna be raising my hand. You know what? I'm not even gonna raise my whole hand. You know, when people walk through the church pews and they put the little finger up, and, oh, excuse me. I'm gonna do one of those. I'm not gonna, you know, we're not scoring touchdowns here, field goal posts, not doing that. I'm just gonna stick up a little finger, just be like, right over here, please. And then I'm gonna try to handle it privately. If they say, young man, go ahead, I'll be like, let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you offline a little bit here.
Yeah. You know, but I think I would have to say something simply because, you know, there is some sort of sanctity of marriage. And I don't think I would want to be a party to knowing some information like that and not saying something to somebody. And maybe I'm joking around. Maybe I wouldn't say it right then. I wouldn't do the, oh, excuse me, I got to talk to you about something. But I would have made it my point to get to that groomsman to the husband or whatever. I would have made a point to somehow get in front of that man and tell him what I saw before they even made it up there to say I do and shit. For some listeners, you may say, hey, don't snitch. I'm telling somebody. Somebody's got to know.
I'm singing like a canary.
You got to. What about you? I know you're saying singing like a canary, but are you going to make it like, hey, don't do it? What are you doing to bring attention to this situation?
I'm going to do, and this is one thing that I do agree with, and I'm going to actually speak up. Maybe not in front of it. There's always a time and a place, and I don't think in the middle of the wedding ceremony is a time and a place. If I witnessed it before everybody started walking down the aisle, pull everybody to the side and saying, "You bitch, you dickhead, you asshole, what's your problem? Are you sure you want to get together now? Because she's about to do your groomsman. Are you sure you want to get together with him? Because he just fucked your bridesmaid." No, we ain't doing that today. Not at all.
So let me ask you this. Let's say now you're her. You couldn't find the opportunity. You didn't want to interrupt the whole thing. You couldn't get a hold of the groom before he went up there. They say, "I do." Now you got this secret weighing on you, weighing on your heart. Are you saying something still? Or at that point, the damage is done. They've already gotten married. You're quiet.
I'm going to say something. Especially every time that I get invited to a wedding, I know this person really well. And if they take out the part, if anybody has any objections, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm not going to hold my peace. I'm going to speak now. So you can either have it one or two ways. You can either have it in front of everybody, in front of the congregation, in front of God, or you can have it off to the side and let's have an offline conversation about it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's my boy, if it's my boy, I agree with you. I'm saying it. No matter what, somebody's gonna hear about this. Now, if you see your boy in the storage room with a bridesmaid, some random chick, somebody's date, are you saying something? It's taking you a while to respond. I'm getting concerned about what you're about to say.
You should be concerned. If I am that kind of man that stays true to himself, I'm going to have to tell the bride.
Woo! That's that. Then before I
now because now because my boy, who I've probably talked to many a nights at the bonfire, drinking and having deep conversations, that I'm telling them, okay, you want to marry this person. Because before, if I'm having conversations, right, and I'm going and saying, and he's saying, well, what should I do? He's getting my advice, and he's usually the kind of guy that listens to me, and he doesn't listen. And I say, you got to start changing. If you're a whore now, get it out your system if you really want to settle down. Because then once you settle down, it's the real deal. Now, if you still want to whore around after you get, and especially the day of your wedding, bro, you have to hit rock bottom, bro. I'm sorry. Because then I won't be a bro. Then I won't be a bro, a true bro. Now, if you want to bro and hide shit later on, okay, what happens at the bachelorette party? Fine. Or the bachelor party? Fine. Great. We'll keep that to ourselves, but remain faithful, gentlemen. Remain faithful.
I would. That was a lot.
You asked the question, motherfucker. You asked the question.
I did.
Now, what would you do? Let's see this answer.
You know, my current situation from earlier still hasn't changed. So, I will plead the fifth.
Good choice.
Are we allowed to do that on this show? Are we allowed to plead the fifth?
Good choice.
Okay,
Very good choice.
I think we get one plead the fifth every 10 episodes. So I'm gonna use my one.
Very good. Plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new segment. Plead the fifth. Guess what? I'm gonna answer the next motherfucking question that happens then. Anyway, Ernest, I'm not gonna get you in the doghouse. I'm not gonna hound. We got our thank you message coming up. After that, it's our final thoughts on today's episode. So stick right tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Josh, one of your hosts from the Fellas and Facts podcast. I just want to take the time to say thank you. to our fellow listeners, our dedicated listeners who make this show possible. Without you, we cannot do the things that we do. We hope every single day, every single week, when you tune into our episode, you will benefit from it. Get a little bit of feedback, a little bit of help. That is our goal. That is our dream. So let's get to work.
It's now the end, and in our final monologue, we talked a lot about our wedding, what we want. Not specifically what we want, but what we've experienced during the popular wedding season. Go out and do whatever the hell you want. Just make sure you love each other and don't have any messy incidences. Family members can be messy, and at the end of the day, it is your guys' wedding. You and your future bride, or you and your future husband, need to have happiness and peace at the end of it. I have some surprises later on in our next episodes coming up. We may have a new co-host and a new segment for all of our entertainment needs. Not saying this co-host is going to be the entertainment person. We might have another person for that. As this show is growing and growing each and every week, I'm excited for the future. But I do need your guys' support at the end. Share what you hear on this podcast with other listeners or with other people who haven't heard about the Fellas and Facts. We're funny, we're entertaining, and we speak the facts. My promise and EJ's promise was to always give you what you want. Share, like, subscribe, follow. I have so many good plans for the summertime, for our summer series, and I can't wait to hear what everyone else likes to hear. We are our own people. We have our own thoughts, but we'd like to take suggestions as well. Like us on Facebook. Get all the up-to-date news on everything Fellas and Facts, as always. Listen to our show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. We do have our TikTok account, which is under the verification process, so we don't get banned anymore. And I promise some good merch will be coming out of once we get everything trademarked. The name is trademarked, the logo's not. It takes time for a beginner podcast to start. It's like a business. You have to set everything up so we can be successful. To my fellow listeners who always love to hear us each week, thank you very much for always listening to us and giving your opinions and your facts and even some ideas too. Without you, we cannot be here. If you are a sponsor and would like to get some sponsorship for your business, your products, we're waiting for that sponsorship. Email us at thefellows1295@gmail.com. As always, this is Josh and EJ, and you are listening to The Facts. Have a great week, everybody.